Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the 4 and the 8 essential oil rollerball wallet. So if you're coming from Patreon, Craftsy, or Etsy, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting my channel. This will help me bring you better quality content and more tutorials. Okay, so let's get started. So you've cut out all of your pieces, you have your interfacing ready to go. We're going to start by taking our pocket piece, that's the piece that goes over the roller balls, fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half on the 6 1/2 side, and then we will do a top stitch on the folded edge. I'm just going to go ahead and press all of my interfacing, so you have one on each of the main pieces and then a little piece of interfacing on that little tab. So that pocket piece, you don't need any interfacing. So I'm going to take that little tab piece, fold it with the right sides together. I'm going to clip that together, and then I'm going to sew down the long end and one short end. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. I'm going to first start doing that top stitch on my pocket piece. So do it about 1 or 2 millimeters away from the edge. Just makes it look a little bit more polished and professional, especially if you decide to sell these. And then I'm going to take my tab piece, do about 1/4 inch seam allowance down the one side. Then lift your presser foot, pivot, and put it back down. Make sure you have a nice crisp edge, and then after we're just going to snip those edges. Make sure we get rid of the excess bulk so that when you do flip it right side out, you have a nice sharp corner. I like to use a chopstick. It helps get those corners nice and sharp. And then after, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine, do a little top stitch on 3 sides, do it about 1 or 2 millimeters away from the edge. Just makes it, like I said, a little bit more polished and professional. Now we're going to take that first main piece, we're going to put it lengthways in front of you, and then we're going to grab the pocket piece. Take the pocket piece and fold it in half, and then I'm going to use some chalk to find the center of that piece. Then I'm going to find the center of my long piece, and I'm just going to take some chalk and mark a line 3 or 4 inches long at the bottom of that piece. And then I'm going to take my pocket piece, lay that on top, line up those lines so that both pieces are perfectly centered with each other, put a few pins in it just so it doesn't shift when sewing, and then take it over the sewing machine. Make sure you double, triple tack the top of that folded edge just so that it is nice and secure, because there will be a lot of stress on it for putting the bottles in. Now I'm going to measure from that middle seam about 1 1/2 inches on the pocket. And then I'm going to do that on the opposite side. So it's really great if you have a ruler like this, because you can see through it and it has 1/4 inch measurements. And then after, I'm going to take the pocket piece, fold one side over, and then measure from that center again, but I'm going to measure 3/4 inch. 3/4 inch will give you a perfect space for that bottle. And then you're going to do that on the other side. So fold the whole pocket over again, and then measure 3/4 inch. Draw a line with your chalk or your water soluble pen. And then after this, you're going to take the pocket, and where you drew that first line that was at 1 1/2 inches, you're going to line up that line with that line underneath. So it's going to, of course, make the top of the pocket kind of, round out, because you're going to put a bottle in there, so that's going to, cover the bottle. You're going to do that on the other side, pin it into place, and then you can bring it over to the sewing machine and do again a straight stitch from that folded edge down, following those chalk lines. So make sure you double tack the top again, just because, of course, the pressure from putting in the bottles in and out many times will, of course, pull on those stitches. So from here, we have 2 bottles slots ready. Now we're going to work on the last 2, and we're going to take that last little piece of the pocket, we're going to fold it up and take that raw edge and line it up with the raw edge of the big rectangle, just like this. So from here, we're going to take it to the sewing machine again, and we're actually going to do a stitch down the side, and this is kind of going to be temporary, so we want to do it nice and close to that edge, just because we don't want to see it when we go to do the finished product. So make sure it's less than 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, because that's what we're going to work with after. After that, we're going to measure from that second seam that we just did from the middle. We're going to measure at 3/4 of an inch, and that's going to create the next bottle opening. Create a line there with your chalk, and then you will have 3, and then we'll go to the other side, measure from that same second seam from the middle, 3/4 of an inch. So you're gonna have to like kind of flip-flop the fabric. Create a little notch there, and then fold that fabric to the middle, and then we'll just make a straight line there. And then we'll put our chalk, and then after we will put a row of stitches there, and then that will make perfect uniform slots for all of your bottles. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So after that, then you can test it out, make sure that your bottles are fitting nicely. And then after, we are going to pleat the bottom, and we want to make it look really nice and uniform, so we're just going to kind of do them all in the same direction. So you're just going to fold the fabric. I like to fold it and make that folded edge kind of come close to the stitches, so as you can see. And then I'm going to do the next one and fold it so that that edge goes to the next row of stitches. So if you've ever done pleating before, it's basically the same idea. Just take some clips, hold it in place for now, and then we're going to go to the sewing machine, and like we did before, we're just going to do a row of stitches very close to the edge. It's just going to tack it down, make sure that it doesn't move when we go to do our final step. Okay, so that is perfect. Now we're going to work on the Velcro. So we're going to put that one aside and work on the next rectangle. We're just going to take our piece, I did about 1.5 inches, put that perfectly centered about 1.5 inches away from the short edge of the rectangle, put a pin in it just to keep it in place, and then take it to the sewing machine, sew all the way around the Velcro, and then once diagonally from side to side, just to make sure it's nice and secure. And then after that, we will start to do our assembly, but I just want to show you that if you are making the 8-bottle wallet, you're just going to repeat all those steps that we just did on the opposite side. So that's when you do get the 8-bottle wallet, there will be different measurements just because it won't close properly. It is larger, but it is the exact same steps. You just double up on the amount of bottle slots. Okay, so after this, we're going to take that Velcro piece, put that on top of the pocket piece. Make sure that the Velcro is right by the bottle slots. Put your tab in, and then you're going to sew all the way around, leaving about 1 or 2 inches. That's going to be for turning. So I'm just placing my tab in last just because I don't want it to fall out or shift. Once you're done sewing that, then you can take your snips and just snip the corners, just so that when you do go to flip it, you do have nice sharp corners. And then you're going to take your chopstick again, and you're going to work and try to turn this right side out. It takes a little bit, but you'll get there eventually. After you have it all flipped out, then you're going to want to press it again. And then we will take that little gap hole thing that we just had, and we're gonna fold that in, and we're gonna top stitch around the whole thing. I did that off camera, and when we do the top stitch, that will actually close up that hole. And then we're just going to put our bottles in, test it out, and then figure out where on the tab that last piece of Velcro is, and then we're just going to sew that like we did the first piece. And then you're done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted of future tutorials. If you decide to make this, I would love to see it. So definitely follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All those links will be in the description box below. And don't forget to check out my 2 bottle and my 8 bottle wallets. The 2 bottle wallet is available for free over at my blog, which is charmedbyashley.com. So thank you again, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!